All right, what's up, everyone? Sam Shaw here, founder of Wall Street Mastermind. Here for this week's version of Thought of the Day Tuesday. Today, I want to talk about a topic that comes up quite often, actually, but I've run into a couple times this week, and so I figured I'd just do a live for you guys on the topic. But there's a lot of college students who want to go into either investment banking or consulting or management consulting specifically, right? Those are two very popular career paths, especially for business-minded students who know they want to pursue business after they graduate, right? And they're both very good options. I'm not here today to tell you that, oh, you should absolutely do investment banking over consulting because that would just be totally, absolutely biased, right? I think if you know already that you definitely want to do investment banking or you definitely want to do consulting, then this video is not for you, okay? But for those of you, there are a lot of you who are actually on the fence where you're not sure if you want to do investment banking or if you want to do consulting, or actually you're okay with either one. Like either of those will be great outcomes for you. And so you kind of want to like hedge your bets and go for both. And in that case, like what is the best approach to recruiting? Okay. So those are the people that I want to address. Now, the first thing I would say is you have to kind of first of all, there's all the like standard considerations that people typically talk about, like, oh, if you work in banking, you're going to work longer hours, right? But if you work in banking, you're also going to get paid more. The pay is higher, right? Like starting pay for a first year analyst at a top tier bank is probably between $125,000 to $150,000, right? Whereas if you're at like a McKinsey, Bain, or BCG, it's probably just over $100,000, right? After you factor in the bonuses and everything else. So there is a difference there. But that's not really like the primary reason. There's other reasons, like obviously the work itself is different, right? Like banking is a lot more quantitative, obviously, needless to say. You're advising clients in both instances on some very strategic decisions, right? On the banking side, you're advising clients on um, mergers and acquisitions and also capital raises, right? But behind the M&A deal and behind the capital raises, there's a strategic rationale for why they're doing these deals. And so you still have to understand what it is that the company is trying to accomplish by doing these deals so that you can advise them accordingly, right? With consulting, you're coming in and helping them solve. It could be any type of problem that they have with the business. Whatever is not really working well right now, they might hire a consultant to come in and help them, fix it, right? Some people say, banking is more rewarding because, when you work on a deal, you immediately get to see the results of that deal. Like if you do an M&A deal, you automatically, like the companies combine as soon as the deal is done, and you get to see that's like the fruit of your labor, right? Or if you take a company public and you raise capital for them, they immediately get hundreds of $1 million into the bank account on their balance sheet, right? Whereas as a consultant, you might advise them or you might give them advice on, hey, this is how I think you should fix this problem in your business, and then they might go and do what you told them to do, or they may not. And then even if they do, like usually it takes a while to roll that out and implement it within the business. So you may or may not see the results of that, or you might not even stick around and get to see like the outcome of your recommendations. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right? Sometimes the client doesn't even use it. And so that is something to consider. The other big difference I would say is like travel, right? Like people always say, oh, in banking, you work so much more, you work longer hours. That may be true. In consulting, you might be working less hours, but actually, when you factor in how much traveling you actually have to do, flying to and from the client's place, wherever that may be, living in a hotel all the time, living out of your suitcase all the time, that's something that needs to be factored in too, right? Going to and from the airport. So again, a lot of different pros and cons, right? Obviously, in terms of exit opportunities, I think it depends on what kind of exit opportunities you want. To be honest, like I think both have really great exit opportunities into any type of business role, right? Like people always say, oh, consulting, you can pretty much do anything you want in business. I think with banking though, like I have a lot of friends that went through banking. Yes, like obviously you have all the typical finance exit opportunities, um, but I actually know a lot of bankers that went on and because I work for a couple of different technology startups, right? I work for Square, I work for GitHub. I know former bankers that went on to do marketing. I know former bankers that went on to do sales. I know former bankers that went on to do even product management, which is almost more on like the engineering R&D side of things. And of course, I know a lot of bankers that work in like finance, strategy, investor relations, so on and so forth, corporate development. So the bottom line is, once you have that analytical skill set, whether you're a banker or a consultant, the reality is most companies are going to be fighting over each other just to hire you, right? Like they want people with that analytical horsepower. They want people with the type of work ethic that they know you're going to have because you're coming from a place where you're working an average of 80 to 100 hours, right? So exit opportunity is not going to be a problem. I do think that one slight edge that I would give investment banking is like if you know that you want to make a career out of finance, like if you know you want to ultimately end up in private equity or a hedge fund or even venture capital, like these buy side investing jobs, while they do still hire some management consultants, um, especially from like McKinsey, Bain, BCG, they hire the vast majority of their junior folks from investment banks. Okay, and then also there are a lot more top tier investment banks that they hire from than top tier consulting firms. Because again, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, there are only so many firms on the consulting side and so many jobs. Whereas in banking, you can work for any of the bulge bracket banks, any of the elite boutiques, maybe even some of the upper middle market banks. So there's at least like 20 plus banks realistically that you can go work at, which will give you the exit opportunities into the buy side jobs, right? So that's what you want to do, just because like they value that financial modeling skill set so much, and hands down, there's no doubt about it. Your financial modeling skill set is going to be much stronger going through banking than going through consulting. So if you want to go in the buy side direction, absolutely your best bet is to go through investment banking. Okay, so I mean, those are some of the pros and cons. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here. You can obviously decide for yourself like what you want to optimize for, right? Now, for those of you that are like, hey, these both sound great, honestly, I'd be really happy with either one. What should I do? For situations like that, I always recommend that you recruit for investment banking first. And here's why, okay? It's strictly from a logistical standpoint. Investment banking recruiting happens before management consulting recruiting. Okay. Um, these days, if you want to go to a top tier bank, the summer internship is super important, right? This is the other big difference is that in investment banking, if you want to get the full time offer, you pretty much have to do the summer internship between your junior and senior year because over 90% of the full time offers go to the summer interns, right? That's actually not the case in management consulting. In management consulting at the top tier firms, they only hire about a third to two thirds of their summer, about a third to two thirds of their full time entry level positions from their summer intern class. Okay, I specifically verified this with my friend who's an expert. He worked at Bain and now he runs a business helping people get into management consulting. Okay, so it's a third to two thirds, which means there's actually a lot more full time positions available, even if you don't do a summer internship in management consulting. Like you can recruit for a full time position in management consulting as a senior in college, and you still be able to have a pretty good shot at getting in, as long as you do all the interviews, right? That's not the case for investment banking though. In investment banking, if you don't do a summer internship at these banks, it's virtually impossible to get the full time offer because you don't have the relevant experience, and the last one or two spots that they have left in whichever group that has those availabilities, they're still going to pick from people who did do a summer internship. That's just how banking works. Don't ask me why it is. It just is what it is, right? So what that means is if you want to preserve the option to go into investment banking, you actually have to. You have to get the summer internship. And to get this junior summer internship, the recruiting for that nowadays, it starts as early as the second semester of sophomore year, right? So you pretty much have to decide before the second half of your sophomore year that, hey, yes, I'm going to commit to recruiting for investment banking. Now, if you recruit for investment banking and for whatever reason you don't get in, because it is very selective, right? The truth of the matter is, as harsh as it sounds, not every single one of you right now who's watching this video is going to end up getting that investment banking internship, right? So if you don't get into investment banking though, you still can pivot over to consulting and then recruit for the consulting summer internship, right? And so now you actually can take a crack at both, And if you're the type of person who's fine with either or, now you have, you get two shots at it, right? However, if you say, hey, I'm going to wait and recruit for consulting, and you don't get that, it's not like you can come back and then try to recruit for investment banking as a backup, right? Because by then, the investment banking recruiting process is already over, right? Now, let's say you recruit for investment banking. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, let's say you're not sure, okay? You don't really know if you want to do banking or consulting. How do I know what I want to commit to after I graduate? Even in that scenario, I would say recruit for investment banking first, get the summer internship offer, because really, you can talk to as many people as you want about, oh, what's banking like, what's consulting like, which one's better, and everyone's going to give you different opinions. The only way for you to really know for sure whether this is something that you want to make a career out of is if you go and try it out and do the internship, right? But again, like I said earlier, with banking, you have to do the internship if you want the full-time offer. With consulting, you don't. So what you can actually do is recruit for the investment banking summer internship, get the offer, do it for your junior summer, decide if it's for you, and if it is for you, great. Then you get the full-time offer by doing a good job, and then you stay there and you keep doing banking, right? If for some reason you try banking for a summer and you're like, dude, I absolutely hate this. This is not for me. Or the hours are too long, or I hate building financial models, or the work is boring, whatever it may be. Like you just had a bad experience. You can still then get the offer from your summer internship. You want to get the offer still because otherwise people are going to think something is wrong with you, like you're a bad intern, right? But you get the offer, you turn it down, then you come back to senior year, you recruit for consulting for full-time, and like I said, there's going to be plenty of openings available even during the full-time recruiting cycle, right? And I know plenty of people that have gone from an investment banking summer internship into a full-time role, say at a McKinsey, Bain, or BCG. Like I can think of a friend off the top of my head right now. He did a summer internship at Goldman, and he went to McKinsey for full-time, right? But again, it doesn't really work the other way around. Like I haven't really seen people do a summer at a consulting firm and then come over to investment banking for full-time, because investment banks typically just won't hire people like that. They want someone who already has that investment banking summer internship experience before they hire them on for full-time. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's why I say, hey, for those of you that are on the fence, you're not sure which one of the two that you really want yet, or if you're just okay with either or, to maximize your chances at getting at least one out of the two, there's an order of operations here where you want to do, you want to recruit for the one that's happening earlier, right? And you want to recruit for the one where the summer internship is more important in terms of converting to the full-time offer. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you guys have any other questions about this topic, feel free to drop a comment below or just PM me, message me. I respond to my Facebook Messenger pretty much every day. So I check that all the time. And so hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you guys, decide that, hey, investment banking is what you want to do, and you need help doing that, as always, my offer is for you guys to book a free strategy session with our team. Happy to jump on a call with you, learn more about your recruiting situation, what your goals are, what it is that you're struggling with, what are the challenges that are currently preventing you from getting the type of offer that you want, and then together we'll help you map out like a game plan for what we think you should do based on your situation. Yeah, and we've worked with almost 200 students at this point. We've seen it all basically. Like whatever you're struggling with right now, we've probably dealt with it before, and we'll probably know what to do. Right? So we'll at least give you that advice, and you can either take that advice and go implement it, or if you want even more help and you want to work with us to make that happen, of course we're happy to discuss that if it's a good fit. Okay, so that'll be it. If you guys want to book that call, you can go to www.wallstreetmastermind.com/apply. The street's abbreviated to ST. Again, it's www.wallstmastermind.com/apply. And we look forward to speaking with you. All right, guys, that's it for this week. And we'll be back again next week with another Thought of the Day Tuesday. So stay tuned. All right, bye.